There's a way to look at an insurance company, and it all has to do with, are they allowed to write business in your state or not? It's all about authority. Any insurance company that wants to come into your state and start to sell their products in your state has to go through a process with the Department of Insurance. They have to submit a whole lot of paperwork. They give them information about the business, the company itself, financial reports. They have to submit all of their policies, all of their forms, their paperwork, everything, their rate charts, everything. And it's reviewed by the Department of Insurance, because remember, the Department of Insurance exists to protect the insurance buying public in each state. So they want to make sure that these companies are real and that they're not overcharging or undercharging premium. And they look at all the paperwork that you would see as a client. They want to make sure that the language is clear and concise and be transparent about everything that they're doing. So once an insurance company has gone through that process and the state Department of Insurance has said, it's okay, we are going to allow you in to sell your products in our state, the state issues that company a certificate of authority. Without a certificate of authority, they could not sell insurance in the state. So it's a very valuable document for an insurance company. In fact, should an insurance company kind of go off in the wrong direction and do something wrong or break state statutes relating to insurance, usually one of the first things the insurance department will do is revoke their certificate of authority, so they have to stop selling in that state because they're trying to protect the people who are buying policies. When we're talking about authority, there's two terms that are used, and they can be used interchangeably. So you need to remember both. There's other circumstances in the exam where this will happen as well. But for example, when it comes to an insurance company and their authority, they are either admitted or authorized, meaning they've gone through the process with the State Department of Insurance, they have their certificate of authority, and they can sell their products in the state. If they have not gone through the process, or they went through the process and the state won't let them in for whatever reason, then they are called non-admitted or unauthorized, meaning they don't have a certificate of authority, which means they cannot sell their products in the state. So remember those words, admitted or unauthorized. Now that I have said that a company must have the authority, that certificate of authority from the Department of Insurance, there is one type of insurance company that will never be admitted or authorized, and they can sell in any state. They sell internationally wherever they need to go. And it's called an excess or surplus lines broker. Typically, it's more on the property and casualty side, but you could see it as a test question because they want you to know what it means. An excess or surplus lines is a company that insures things, risks that other insurance companies find too catastrophic or just too large. They simply could not take on that responsibility. Things like covering the giant oil tankers that carry crude oil across the oceans. High environmental risk if one of those goes aground, something like that. Very, very costly. Not every private insurance company would be able to cover that kind of loss. It would be catastrophic for them. So these excess and surplus lines brokers step in. They cover extraordinary things. Fleets of airliners for an airline is another example. Rail cars. Those are very expensive things for these businesses to have, and typically private insurance companies can't assume that much risk. Another thing that surplus lines brokers cover are extraordinary things like a person's body parts. For example, a singer might cover their vocal cords. When Beckham was still playing soccer, he covered his legs. He insured his legs. A quarterback or a baseball pitcher might cover their arm, elbow, wrist, hand, because that's what they make their living from. So extraordinary, unusual things. Excess or surplus lines brokers, they will never be admitted or authorized in any state.